Ask Tom on Home Show.
Christy from Katy, Texas has a question about portable power.
But you get ready for storms, Tom. Christy writes, I plan to buy a dual-fuel portable generator for my home during the storms, and it needs to be in the range of somewhere between 100 and 130 pounds with wheels so we can move it. So our husband can move it. We would like one with a switch start rather than a pull start. Several outlets for fans and small heaters. We'd place it on our open but covered back porch and bring the cord in through the window. What do you recommend, Tom?
I recommend you do a lot of Googling and searching. Here's what's going to make it heavier, and people probably wouldn't even think of this. Because you want a switch on where it starts itself, it's going to have a starter, and it's going to have a battery. Batteries are heavy. It's probably going to have a small car battery to get it going. So you're going to have to look at the weight, because weight seems to be an issue. But now they put them on two wheels. It's like lifting a wheelbarrow. So it's easier to lift than it might seem if it's balanced right on the cart. So that means testing them out before you find the one you want. When you say dual fuel, I assume you're meaning either propane and gas, which is the most common dual fuel, and that's fine. But I'm going to tell you to go and look and pick them up and wheel them around the store, whatever you have to do. But there are all kinds of small generators like that. I've got a small one that's not on wheels that I can pick up just to run my radio equipment here in Brownsville, and it's a dual fuel if I ever have a problem where we lose power during a hurricane, and so I can still do my radio show and get paid at the end of the month. So it's really important for me to do that. Yeah, but it's a small one, and it would run all my equipment. So they're very common, and they're getting really tiny. They're getting more compact, but the switch and which is the starter and the battery, that's going to add to your weight. So play with them on the carts. They should be on a built-in cart that you can roll right out, like a small barbecue or a wheelbarrow. When you're wheeling things, it should have two good wheels. And it depends on the design of the cart and how they center that weight.
And dual fuel, what are the dual fuels?
That's
it's
what
like
I was
propane
saying.
and gasoline?
You can use propane like on a barbecue pit. You can, and quite frankly, to me, if you're going to store fuel around in case something's happening or go buy it while everybody's at the gas pump getting gasoline, because you can't store it, it goes bad. Right. You can go over to the Home Depot's, Lowe's, or to some of the gas stations that sell the propane tanks, pick up a half a dozen, and they store for a long time. So it's like a barbecue pit if you're going to barbecue. And if you have a barbecue pit, just keep extra and use it for that. But that's the dual fuel, either the tank or the gasoline. But I do know with a pull starter, it's a lot harder to start them on propane. So it's easier to start them on the gasoline to get the engine going and then switch over with a switch to propane to keep it going. Just a little tip for people.
The part of that question that caught my ear was the next to last sentence. We would place it on our open but covered back porch and bring the cables in the windows, Tom. I worry about that because with standby generators, they say you can't be within, I think it's like 8 feet of any opening on the house, and they're going to put it under a covered area, and all that exhaust and carbon monoxide. I worry about something like that. I think the location of the generator is an important factor.
It is. And when you buy these small ones like the one I have, it says on there you have to be 25 feet away from their building. Now, that doesn't mean people do it. You know, they also say don't drink the fluids. In the old days, we'd get a manual for our car, and it showed us how to adjust the points, right? Today, it says don't drink the battery fluid. I mean, that's the way today's society is. It's changed a lot. They didn't have to tell us not to drink it back then. But you're very right, because people die during these storms when they get them too close, and that's carbon monoxide coming in. Now, propane burns cleaner. So you don't, but I'm not going to tell you to bring it up closer because you're using a propane tank. Although, I mean, it's still giving out gasoline, but it is cleaner and it's not as dangerous. But always, anytime you have a motor, it's got to be to the outside. And a barbecue with charcoal. Charcoal will kill you faster than gasoline exhaust. It's got to go outside. People make those mistakes all the time. Read the instructions, read the warnings, read how you should use it. And if it's way down at one end and it's 20 feet away from your window and everything else is closed, it's probably as safe as a lawnmower going off in the backyard. But you've got to have common sense. And that's what I was getting at. Common sense prevails, and it's hard to find today.
as is good advice, and that's what you get when you click on that Ask Tom button. Tom will answer your question, help you out with advice based on his years of building and causing trouble around the world. But and we document this. We post them every day at HomeShowRadio.com, our YouTube channel, and our Facebook page. If you haven't been following us on Facebook, if you follow us, you'll get an alert every time we put something new up.